Okay, I'm going to be doing some work with negative exponents. I've simplified the problem so they're only base x you have to worry about. Okay, these numbers are exponents. Okay, should have probably circled them, but I didn't. Okay, so just go with it from there. They're circled. They're exponents. They should be circled. Okay. Alright, so you got an x on top, x on bottom. There aren't going to be any parentheses in this assignment, so you can go ahead and put negative 15, and you can put 2, because there's only one x on top, one x on bottom. Now you cancel the one on the bottom, okay? And when you do that, you minus 2 from your negative 15. So negative 15 minus 2 is negative 17, okay? Don't do the plus negative stuff. Just take negative 15 minus 2. So you cross that out and put negative 17. Now I want you to circle that exponent and its base. Is it a negative or a positive? If it's a negative, the x needs to come down to the bottom so that its exponent can become a positive. Okay? And then you put a 1 over the top of it. That's if it's negative. Okay, next one. X over x, just one of each on top and bottom, so no plus. So you got a negative 25 and a negative 10. You cancel from the bottom. Now, you don't minus 10. That was a negative 10. So you put minus negative 10. Okay? So, somewhere. Negative 25, it's not minus 10, it's minus negative 10, which is totally different because when you minus a negative, it goes to plus plus. So it ends up being negative 25 plus 10. That's negative 15. So you cross that out, negative 15. Did the power on the x end up negative? It did. So then x goes from the top to the bottom, and its exponent then can be rewritten as a positive with 1 over the top of it. Okay, now you got 1x on top. I see 2 on bottom, so on the bottom x you need to put a plus. So the x on top, you got negative 10. On bottom you got a 2 plus a negative 3. There's no parentheses to worry about, so you just put the exponents as they are. We need to figure out what the heck 2 plus negative 3 is. It's negative 1. So you cross that one out right here and put negative 1. Now you cancel the 1 on bottom. Once you're down to, you know what power's on the top and the bottom, you cancel the 1 on the bottom. But it was a negative 1, so it's minus negative 1. Okay? You're subtracting a negative, you're adding the positive. So it's negative 10 plus 1, which is negative 9. So you cross that out, put negative 9. Okay, did the x end up with a negative or a positive? It ended up with a negative, so we move it to the other side where it becomes a positive 9 with a 1 over it. Okay, next, there's 2 x's on top, plus, there's 2 x's on bottom, plus, so a negative 3 plus a 10. That's 7. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7. Then negative 1. And negative 21. Negative 1 plus negative 21 is negative 22. Now it's canceling time. So you have an x on bottom. You get rid of that, but it has a negative 22. So you put minus negative 22. So we end up with 7 minus negative 22. Plus plus, 7 plus 22 is 29. So it's x to the 29th power. Now, did that end up as a negative 29 or positive? Oh, it's positive, so I don't move it. It stays on top then, okay? And you don't need to put a 1 then if it's on if it stayed on top, okay? So I'm not moving it when it's positive. Okay, next problem. 1 of each, so negative 2 over negative 4. You cross out from the bottom and you minus, not 4, negative 4. So negative 2 minus negative 4. That's a plus plus, and that becomes 2. So you cross that out, you put 2. Was it positive 2 or negative 2? It was positive, so it stays in its position on top. Okay. Okay, x, you got a 16, you got a 20. Out of here, minus 20. So that was a 20. That wasn't a negative 20, so it's not minus negative 20, it's just minus 20. Okay. So 16 minus 20, this time it does not go plus plus, because it's negative 4. Okay, is that negative or positive? It's negative, so you have to reciprocate. It's got to move to the other side so it can become positive, and you need a 1 over the top of it. If something ends up on the bottom, and you have nothing on top, you put a 1. Okay, x is, combine that. Now you have two different x's, okay? They're on the same side, plus 2 and negative 4. And you also need a plus on the bottom, negative 10 and 12. So you're adding them first, okay? I got a negative 2 with my top x. You're not done, though. That's not going to be the last we hear of that. Negative 10 plus 12 is 2. So you take your x out of the bottom, it has a 2. You put a minus sign there, and it's just a regular 2, so it's just minus 2. That's gone. So now negative 2 minus 2 will find the final exponent to the x, and that's negative 4. Now, did the exponent end up positive or negative? Oh, it's negative, so we need to carry it down to the other side so it becomes positive. If it's negative on top, if I move it to the bottom, it'll become a positive. Now, if it's negative on bottom, and if you move it to the top, it becomes positive. But that's not going to happen in this assignment. Okay, x, you just have one x on top, but you got 2 of them on the bottom. So the top x, you got a 6. Then 8 and 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. That should be common sense. Okay. Okay, canceling time. Put minus, and that was a 10, just a regular 10. So it's just 6 minus 10, okay? Not minus negative, so that would be negative 4. So the final exponent is negative 4. It's negative, so if it's negative on top, if I move it to the bottom, it'll be a positive. Okay, that's how exponents work on fractions. If they have a negative power on one side, you move them to the opposite side, they'll be a positive.